I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from the 9-Year-Old CEO. Before that, comparison statements for Trouble Girl, which will be out very soon. So the existing statement at the end of the synopsis blurb on the back is, if you liked my struggle, the life and death of Sophie Stark, and my name is Lucy Barton, you'll love this Gen X in search of lost time. I'm thinking of changing it to, if you like Nosgard, Ferrante, and Rachel Cusk, you'll love this Gen X Proust. Or if you liked my struggle, the Neapolitan novels, and the Outline trilogy, you'll love this Gen X in search of lost time. With the 9-Year-Old CEO, because new people at the group didn't feel settled in the story, I went back to the very beginning. Chapter 5, Crash of Santa. Crash of Santa had started with a song Beowulf had recorded. He had never sung before. He was learning as he went. The song was not really a song, but a recreation of the theme music from Mario Kart. Beowulf beeped, dinged, cha-chinged, and trilled, voice mimicking the madcap ride of Mario through the game, a tour de force in enthusiasm. Arduino shook her head. A reserved person herself, she suddenly saw that excitement and energy could take a person far. In Crash of Santa, Beowulf's song launches the portly benefactor from his sleigh. Santa flies and flies, landing in another dimension. Like in every good sci-fi time travel novel since Einstein, Santa rips the fabric of space and time. Yet the goal of the game was to deliver all the presents before Earth's children got up on Christmas morning. Absolute madness. The light twinkled in Beowulf's eyes as he explained how hard it was going to be to win. And they were going to release this bombshell a month before the hallowed day. We need all bleep! We need more bleeping, bleeping, bleep! Hands on deck, Beowulf screamed. On it, replied Arduino. I've outsourced prototyping to a friend in India. Prototyping? We should be building! Yes, Arduino replied, keeping her voice even. But until we have the game mechanics, shamanics, schematics. Do we have schematics? Arduino looked at her pint-sized boss. I'm just messing with you. Arduino smiled. We do, in fact, have schematics for the new building in Centertown, but I think we should focus on Crash of Santa, at least until development's done. Beowulf petted Juniper, the cat who had led Arduino to him that fateful night so many years ago. Who's my best friend? He crooned as the black animal flopped onto her back for belly rubs. Ravinder, Arduino continued, my friend in India, has a whole team working. Beowulf, in a calmer state of mind after petting his cat, sighed. What kind of prototype are they doing? How many people does it take to make a prototype? Well, we want it fast and Arduino continued in a mumble, they work cheap. Then she brightened. They've probably finished the first one already. Last night, Ravinder said they wouldn't leave until they were done. I hate wireframes, Beowulf grouched. Oh? What's the point? You can't click or see anything move. You can't see artwork. You certainly can't hear anything. If they've done a paper prototype, do we need a wireframe too? I see your point. I'll tell them to go straight to gray boxing. Beowulf nodded as he batted the fuzzy ball of Juniper's swatty thing while the animal leapt around after it. Arduino? Beowulf spoke in a small voice, causing his second-in-command to look up sharply. Yes? Can you bring me my... Of course. And don't... Of course, she said again. She nodded short and sharp like a military general. Beowulf's special pajamas were onesies with pictures of Juniper in an astronaut's helmet on them. He'd had them commissioned in utmost secrecy, instructing Arduino to pay with Monero because it was impossible to trace, unlike Bitcoin. He'd informed her, though she knew that already. Then he'd asked her to get a P.O. box in her name to receive the jammies, then get rid of the P.O. box. Whenever he got too stressed, he wanted to wear them and nap. I will bring you the garment and make up your bed, Arduino stated. She pushed a button on the wall. The bookcase that mostly contained video game paraphernalia instead of books disappeared to reveal a small 1940s cage elevator. After getting in, she clanged up 4 floors to where Beowulf's hidden day room existed. Resplendent in draperies, stars, and moons. It looked like a cutscene from A Trip to the Moon, that famous George Méliès silent movie from 1902. Where or how Beowulf had seen it, Arduino had no idea. The kid absorbed culture at a dizzying rate and somehow kept the most iconic and powerful images, ideas, and events foremost in his mind. Beowulf's room had a massive pirate ship bed that rocked in a wooden-waved sea and much lusher draperies than in A Trip to the Moon, all purple and blue velvets. He had a real pirate's glass from one of Captain Kidd's ships. That's Captain Kidd from the 15th century, not the later mainstream one, and actual pirate treasure chests containing real gold and jewelry from 17th century buccaneers Edward Teach and Henry Morgan. In his big pirate bed up near his mountain of pillows, a smaller version of the same sleeping enclosure sat for Juniper. Back in Sullian's office, Legos, toys, video equipment, beanbag chairs. Arduino had said that every tech company had to have beanbag chairs. A cake decorating station. Sullian had insisted on that over Arduino's protests. Maybe he wanted to dip his toe into baking video territory, he'd said. And besides, he loved decorating cakes. It gave him ideas, inspired artwork for Beowulf's games. Sullian stared at his giant curved monitor. The thing was 6 feet high and 10 feet wide, made especially for him. No one else in the world had a monitor of such clarity and detail. Then again, no one else was Sullian. Sullian was happy with the results of Slimming Santa. He looked like the guy in Parks and Rec, except older, with white hair. What was the actor's name? Nick somebody? That's what Arduino said anyway. Sullian didn't know him, only had the photo Arduino supplied. In Bangalore, Ravinder's team wrestled with the convoluted gameplay as outlined in Beowulf and Arduino's Bible. Who is Jack Yeated Pants? Is he some sort of American celebrity? Mina asked, staring at the drawing Beowulf had made in Microsoft Paint. I don't think so. This boy, he is a child game genius, apparently, and comes up with these. I see, Mina interrupted, squinting at her computer screen and reading how Jack Yeated Pants appears out of nowhere, dancing and singing, distracting the reindeers, and crash. But he looks so unformed, like a child drew him. Oh, she looked from her monitor to Ravinder, who nodded. Americans, they both said at the same time. Beowulf's Jack sported an odd hat, vaguely reminiscent of a lighthouse, sage green skin, and a body encased in a bright red shirt and pants. Beowulf had drawn the hat and bottom portion of Jack's body freehand, but used Microsoft Paint's shapes to define his character's armless torso and head. He'd outlined the shapes in black, except for Jack's elongated hexagon eyes, the same color as the rest of his skin, but floating above his face and casting shadows onto it. This character is a wild card, Mina commented. Do you mean Beowulf or Jack? Ravinder chuckled.